Well, I have in my hands here the book, The Story of John G. Paton, 30 Years Among South Sea Cannibals. It's somewhat remarkable looking at the cover and seeing John Paton running from cannibals. I mean, this really happened. And even though it was over 100 years ago, it's remarkable as you listen to this book to hear of the power of God in this man's life. Even the other day, the children and I were listening to the part where he's hiding in the tree, praying. And he said, "I'm alone, yet I'm not alone." And this man walked with God. And our hope and prayer is that as you listen to this book, it will stir you up to trust in this God. And not only trust in Him, but to be burdened to reach out to those who do not know this Christ and this God. So when it comes to John G. Paton biographies, the first that I'm aware of that was published was John G. Paton, Missionary to the New Hebrides, after which his brother James published a condensed version under the title, The Story of John G. Paton, 30 Years Among South Sea Cannibals. Then, in 1923, so only recently public domain, A.K. Langridge modified that volume and republished it. And so the book in my hands is a combination of what James Paton and A.K. Langridge edited. The condensed parts are in the areas where Paton traveled to raise funds. I've heard many who are reading through the book and they kind of get stuck right there. And so I was amazed to find that James Paton already recognized that and condensed that section. Also, at the end of Langridge's volume leading up to Paton's death, he added several chapters which are also included here. Now, if your time is limited and you cannot listen to the whole 11 hours of the book, at least I'd recommend listen to chapters 58 to 60, and you will be stirred to see the conversion of a chief and the power of God at work, and a simple thing of digging a well and what that led to in these men recognizing the God that John G. Paton was serving. And I also just hope and pray that this book and the audiobook, just being so accessible, will burden others to want to go reach the unreached tribes. As I read this biography, I couldn't help but think of the unreached people on North Sentinel Island. Who will go? At least we must pray that God would send forth the truth to these people. On one last note, I was also struck that James Paton originally published the condensed version of the book with a focus towards impacting young people and teenagers. And wow, would it not be wonderful if today's youth could read such books and be inspired to live for our great God? And when you start reading this, you don't suddenly think, oh, this is for a teenager. And that just shows how the bar of reading in 2023 has sadly dropped so often among many young people. Well, lastly, let me leave you with Luke chapter 10, verses 2. And Christ said to them, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into His harvest." And that is my prayer, is we're putting up these free audiobooks on Scroll Reader. The hope is that you might start one of them, not even thinking you're going to listen to the whole thing, and then you get pulled in, hearing about what this missionary or these missionaries have gone through, and hearing about their God, and hearing about the great needs in the world and the sufferings that some of these missionaries endured. And all of a sudden, you find yourself not just praying to the Lord of the harvest to send laborers, but you start asking yourself, "Lord, would you have this for me? Would you have me to go and take forth this news in a foreign soil?" And so may the Lord use this to encourage and stir up His people.